I wanted to do one of the tag videos that's been floating around YouTube, and it's actually 50 random facts. I'm going to cut it down to 25 because that would be an extremely long video, but it just gives you guys an opportunity to know a little bit more about me. And even if you are somebody that's friends with me or knows me pretty well, these are all random facts that you probably don't know. So let's get this party started. Here we go. I absolutely hate, loathe with every fiber of my being snakes. I wish that every single one of them would be chopped up into tiny little pieces with axes and I could actually watch it. I hate them. And there are some people out there who try to justify their existence by saying that they help aid in keeping the mice population under control. What do mice ever do to get such a bad rap anyway? I personally think that they're kind of cute. And for those that say that they're dirty and they're full of diseases, snakes are full of something too. You want to know what it is? Poisonous venom. And they strike out and sink their nasty little fangs into your skin and shoot you full of it. So that is a lame excuse, and don't come at me with that. Me and a couple of my friends got the opportunity to meet the Backstreet Boys like right before they blew up and got super famous, and I was actually invited on stage and got to dance with Howie, so for a while I considered him my soulmate and was thoroughly in love with him, like 100%. Thought we should be together forever. And I'll have you know, at one point in time he got kind of close up in my face and asked me how old I was, and so being that I was 15, he obviously had good judgment and decided against it, but he has kind of an unusual hidden talent, which is being able to mimic the cry of a newborn baby. And so here we go. If you guys want to hear it, it tends to kind of freak people out, but I'm going to do it anyways. There you go. The happiest person in the world if I'm holding a puppy. If you ever want to deliver some kind of horrific news to me, you just hand me a puppy first and it's all good. When I was younger, I had the most insanely massive crush on Dean Cain. Superman was my show. I would get excited about it 5 days in advance, and I actually wrote him a really long drawn-out letter about what a big fan that I was, and he was very nice and actually wrote me back a very nice note that was like, thanks for your support, keep watching. And he also sent me like a big 8x10 glossy photo of himself, which looking back on it, that kind of seems a little bit douchey, but I still hung it on my wall and rocked that for solidly through my teens, maybe even early 20s. I have some kind of ADD that's specifically associated with reading, so reading anything, it takes me an insanely long period of time, not because I'm a slow reader, but because when I'm reading something I get distracted mentally and start thinking about other things, and then I get to the end of the page and realize that I have no idea what I've just read and I have to go back and read it again, sometimes several times, so reading ends up being a huge time suck for me. There's a certain part of me that may never actually mature beyond thinking that your mom jokes are always funny. And I am that person who still at random will go, your mom, and crack up laughing to myself. I was in kindergarten. I didn't know how babies were made yet, and I decided to tell all of my friends and classmates that I was pregnant, and they all believed me. And when they were asking my mom when I was going to have my baby, she decided that was a good time to go ahead and give me that special little talk. I'm kind of the opposite when I'm in a really bad mood. Instead of being rude to people and letting it kind of spreading that negativity, my go-to move is to just pick somebody out and do or say something extraordinarily nice and try to make somebody else smile, maybe give a random compliment or help somebody with something or let somebody in front of me in some kind of line, and seeing just that little bit of brightness that you're bringing to somebody else is always the quickest way to flip my mood, and I immediately start feeling better. I am not afraid to say that I'm a huge fan of oldies, and You may see me in the car sometime and I'm jamming, I'm moving around, getting crazy, and I know from the outside there are people that are like, that girl's getting crunk in there. She is listening to like some kind of crazy hip hop or some hardcore rock song, but if I were to actually lower the windows down, you would stop and go, is that Neil Diamond? It may be. Well, I'm really, really girly in some ways, and other ways I think I missed the boat on some kind of girl jeans because I don't like shopping. I get really bored really quick after about 20 minutes. I'm like, oh, I'm done with this, I'm tired. Believe it or not, I'm actually the current champion and record holder of consuming a 4-pound hamburger in Sherwood, Arkansas. What? My favorite foods to this day is something that my mom actually kind of made up and always prepared for my brother and I for breakfast, and it's applesauce peanut butter bread. And you take hot toast, smear peanut butter on it, and then put some spoons of applesauce on it, and it is a magical combination that is like heaven in your mouth, and I love it to this day. My resting face just happens to look really angry. I can't help it, it's just my face. So I get told a whole lot to smile, cheer up when I'm in a fantastic mood. And I'll have you know, people telling me to smile just because my face looks angry and I can't do anything about it happens to be a huge pet peeve of mine. So unless you actually want to irritate me, just pipe down on that, okay? Just know that my face may look angry, but inside it's all rainbows and sunshines. I'm an animal lover to the extreme, and one of the pets that I had when I was little was a rabbit that was a little overweight, and she had big floppy ears, and her name was Flopsy. And I think I gave her the middle name Mopsy, so her name was Flopsy Mopsy. And I would dress her up in little baby clothes and lay her down in the crib, and she would fall asleep that way. And thinking back, that seems a little bit unkind, but she was always perfectly fine with it, and she was such a sweet pet. The only foods that I actually don't like are liver and blue cheese. Everything else is fair game. I'm like the least finicky person that you're ever going to meet in the world. Absolutely hate licorice as well. It is nasty, and I do not understand you if you like it. I have a very real phobia, I'm not trying to be funny here, of smelling other people's farts and poop air. And think about it with me. You're breathing in little tiny particles of poop. That's what it's like to me. It's like I'm breathing in tiny little poop particles that belong to somebody else, and it's going into my nose and down my throat and infiltrating my body. And if I go into a public bathroom and someone has been inconsiderate, I will literally hold my breath the whole time, haul A, and then you're going to see me sprinting out of the bathroom with a purple face gasping for air, because I will pass out on the floor before I take that air into my body. A super hardcore tomboy, and I would always choose hanging out with my brother and his friends and playing guns and chase and all of the awesome boy games over playing something like Barbies with another girl. My favorite movie of all time is Bridesmaids, and it doesn't matter how many times I watch it, I laugh just as hard, if not more, because I actually anticipate my favorite parts and start laughing before they even happen. One brother, he's a couple years older than I am, and he is honestly the most awesome person I've ever come across. He's probably the one person who knows and understands me better than probably anybody else on the planet, and I'm super blessed to have him for a brother. Somewhere inside of me there is this little 80-year-old grandmother that absolutely loves to cook for people. I don't know what it is. I love it. I've done it from the time that I was little. I would always ask my brother and dad if they wanted me to make them a sandwich, or there's something about preparing something and nourishing someone else with it that is really fulfilling for me. I officially have the world's straightest hair, and I do what I can to give it some kind of curl, so I have never quite understood the craze with flat irons and getting your hair purposely as straight as you possibly can. And I'm also the opposite, that when it's really humid outside and all of the other girls are talking about how their hair is curling up and frizzing, mine actually gets even straighter. So It's like the molecular structure of my hair is opposite of everybody else's.